This week's Monday Motivation is about the all or nothing mindset to movement, which is just so common. And I want you to know that even I feel this all the time because we are constantly bombarded with information and pressures that tell us that there's sort of a certain threshold of movement that makes it enough to make a difference. And so many people, when I meet with them for the first time, they want to get active when it comes, beyond pain and have to kind of start over with movement. There's this sense that, like, I can't get started until I can do enough for it to actually matter. And so this is such a stumbling block for so many of us, especially on the pain journey, because in the very beginning, it may be that 5 minutes is all you have when it comes to endurance, stamina, strength, just kind of the mental load of trying to push through a little discomfort when you're just kind of exploring, um, and getting your nervous system comfortable with something that it used to fear. 5 minutes can be a lot. So if we go into it with a mindset that if I do 30 minutes or an hour, that's the only benchmark that matters when it comes to my health, then we get sort of stuck on this kind of waiting until you can do that much. And then that time never comes because if you don't start with the 5 minutes, you'll never get to the 1 hour if that's what's really important to you. And I would challenge that notion in general anyway, because it's always better to do some kind of movement than to do no movement whatsoever. And we have to also always be checking ourselves about why we're moving. We have to remove weight loss and body size and, fitness as a reason to move because ultimately that is not a motivator that is very effective and it's not a mindset that's going to serve us. We know this for sure. So, especially when you're coming from a perspective of wanting to be able to move your body after a chapter or episode of chronic pain, getting stuck in I have to do X amount is a recipe for being kind of never getting beyond the starting block. So it's just really important to release that for yourself and recognize that incremental steps that you are taking every single day are are going to add up in the long run to muscle memory in your body, kind of a perception of um, you know, expanding the capacity of your movement over time. If, 5 minutes becomes you work on a certain movements and then like over time it becomes like muscle memory and now you're really comfortable with them, then you become ready to challenge yourself with something new. Even just a little bit every day is going to get you further and further into that area of those reach movements, which we talk about in the book, of those things that feel out of bounds because of a learned fear response associated with them because of injury or just sensitization or fear over time that builds up because of, a sense of having a body that's not capable or feeling, um, you know, having a story in your mind about, certain things being scary or dangerous for yourself. Um, we're not going to chip away at that until we have our 5 minutes. And the beautiful thing about promising yourself 5 minutes of movement is that on the days that you have the time and it feels really good, I guarantee you that it'll just turn into more really supernaturally and organically. You don't have to push it. But on the days that you don't have more than that, then you've done the thing that you set out to do, which was to do 5 minutes. So I cannot tell you enough. I feel it probably seems like I'm sort of a broken record when it comes to this, but just consistently when I meet new people, when people are at the start of their journey, this comes up so much of, kind of when I ask, what do you think is the thing that's getting in the way of your movement? It's like, well, I I feel like, if I can't do the thing that I used to do before, what's the point? So there are many steps to that, right? I mean, it takes time to unpack, why are you moving, making sure you're moving, your movement practice is connected to a goal that is tied to your heart and your passion and your purpose, and not just some random outside thing, but also, giving yourself the grace of being in the body that you're in today and being really grateful for that body and learning to reflect with some self-compassion. So um, we're definitely going to be talking a lot about self-compassion this year because that is my word for 2025. It's a compound word, but because I'm trying to learn how to have more kindness and awareness and um, kind of recognizing the shared experience that is associated with self-compassion. And these are the things that have been put forward by the self-compassion research lab from Dr. Kristen Neff. Um, and I really recommend you check out her work. And I think it's a powerful thing, especially at a time when we're feeling maybe more vulnerable and more isolated because of world happenings, when we can anchor in on self-compassion and recognize the kind of connectedness in our humanity and give ourselves more grace, we're much more likely to be able to find and cultivate hope and a sense of agency in our bodies. And that's ultimately what we want. So that's this week. I'll see you next week.